You are sitting completely still right now, maybe in a chair, maybe in bed. The room is probably quiet and nothing around you wants to kill you. And yet, somewhere inside your skull, a very old alarm system is running. It never turns off. It is scanning, always scanning. And the strangest part is, it has been doing this for your entire life, and you never once told it to stop. That feeling is not anxiety. It is not a disorder. It is not something broken in you. It is one of the oldest biological programs in existence. And the real story of why it is still running inside you right now is far stranger than you have been told. Your brain was not designed for this world. It was designed for a different one. A world where the grass moved without wind and something with teeth was probably inside it. A world where silence meant danger, where the wrong shadow could end your life, and where every single mistake had permanent consequences. That world shaped the organ sitting inside your head right now. And here is what nobody tells you. It shaped it so thoroughly that your brain genuinely cannot tell the difference between that ancient savanna and your morning commute. In the 1990s, a neuroscientist named Joseph LeDoux published research that would reframe how science understood fear. He was working at New York University, studying the brains of rats. What he found was a structure buried deep inside the brain, the amygdala, that did something remarkable. It processed fear faster than conscious thought. Before you have even registered what you are looking at, before your visual cortex has finished assembling the image, before the thinking part of your brain has had any say at all, the amygdala has already sent the signal to flood your body with adrenaline. LeDoux called it the low road. Your body reacts before your mind decides. This is not a glitch. This was the entire point. In a world where a predator could close the distance between you and death in under 3 seconds, waiting for rational thought was a death sentence. The brains that reacted first survived. The brains that paused to evaluate got eaten. You are the descendant of the ones who reacted first. Every single human alive today is. Think about what that means. You are not a calm, rational animal who occasionally feels fear. You are a fear-first animal who occasionally gets to be calm. That is the correct order of operations. Everything else, your logic, your planning, your language, your self-awareness, all of it was built on top of that original alarm system. You are, at your core, a threat detection machine that learned to do other things on the side. Psychologist Roy Baumeister spent decades studying what he called the negativity bias, and what he found confirmed something that had been suspected for years. Bad experiences hit harder than good ones. A single threat registers more powerfully in memory than an equivalent reward. You remember the one time someone humiliated you in public far more vividly than the 100 times you were praised. You replay the argument, not the compliment. You dwell on the near miss, not the success. This is not weakness. This is the exact program your ancestors needed to survive. A brain that remembered every tiger attack in vivid detail and let the good days blur together was a brain that stayed alive long enough to pass its genes forward. The problem is this. The same system that remembered the tiger now remembers your embarrassing moment from 7th grade with identical urgency. The same alarm that fired when a shadow moved in the long grass fires when your boss sends you an email with no greeting. Your nervous system does not read the difference between physical threat and social threat. It just reads threat. And in the ancient world you were built for, social threat and physical threat were essentially the same thing. Getting expelled from the group meant starvation. Getting shamed publicly meant losing your status, your access to resources, your survival odds. So the brain evolved to treat social pain with exactly the same machinery it used for physical pain. Researcher Naomi Eisenberger ran a now-famous experiment at UCLA in the early 2000s. She put participants inside an fMRI machine and had them play a simple ball-tossing game with what they believed were 2 other players. At some point in the game, the other players stopped passing the ball to the participant. They were socially excluded, just excluded from a ball-toss game. What Eisenberger found in the brain scans was startling. The regions that activated during this social exclusion, the anterior cingulate cortex and the anterior insula, were the same regions that activated during physical pain. Your brain does not have a separate system for social hurt. It uses the same system. Because in the world you were built for, they were the same hurt. This is why criticism stings as sharply as a slap. This is why rejection can feel genuinely physical. This is why the threat of being judged, excluded, or humiliated activates the same ancient alarm as actual danger. You are not being dramatic. You are running very old software in a very new world. And here's the twist that makes this even stranger. The brain doesn't just scan for threats, it predicts them. Neuroscientist Lisa Feldman Barrett, in her research into what she calls the predictive brain, argues that your brain is not a passive receiver of the world around you. It is constantly generating predictions about what is about to happen and then comparing reality to that prediction. Most of the time, the prediction wins. Your brain fills in the gaps, invents the story, and presents you with a version of reality that is part observation and part educated guess. And when the predictions involve threat, when past experiences have trained your brain to expect danger in certain situations, it sees that danger even before it exists, sometimes even when it does not exist at all. This is why a crowded room can feel threatening, why a particular tone of voice can make your chest tighten before you have consciously processed what was said. Why certain places, certain smells, certain combinations of light and sound can flood you with unease that seems to have no rational source. Your brain has cataloged those inputs as threat adjacent, and it is warning you. It does not care whether the threat is still real. It learned the pattern, and now it runs it automatically. You are not broken. You are running a program that kept your ancestors alive for 2 million years. The problem is not the program. The problem is the mismatch. A paleolithic alarm system installed inside a modern skull, scanning a world it was never designed for, finding threats in emails and traffic jams, and the pause before someone replies to your message. The system cannot be switched off, but knowing it is running changes everything. The next time you feel that tightening in your chest, that scanning alertness, that sense that something is wrong, even though nothing you can name is wrong, you can recognize it for what it is. Not a malfunction, not weakness, just the oldest part of you doing exactly what it was built to do. You are sitting completely still. The room is quiet. Nothing around you wants to kill you. And somewhere inside your skull, that ancient alarm is still running, still scanning the grass that no longer exists, still listening for the sound of something that stopped hunting you 10,000 years ago. It kept you here. Every version of you that came before survived because of it, and now it is yours. This restless, tireless, deeply human inheritance, running quietly in the background of everything you will ever think or feel or do.